9 benefits of drinking coffee. Whether you're cradling a travel mug on your way to work or dashing out after spin class to refuel with a skinny latte, it's hard to imagine a day without it. The caffeine perks you up, and there's something incredibly soothing about sipping a steaming cup of joe. But is drinking coffee good for you? Good news. The case for coffee is stronger than ever. Study after study indicates you could be getting more from your favorite morning beverage than you thought. Coffee is chock full of substances that may help guard against conditions more common in women, including Alzheimer's disease and heart disease. Caffeine is the first thing that comes to mind when you think about coffee. But coffee also contains antioxidants and other active substances that may reduce internal inflammation and protect against disease, say nutrition experts from Johns Hopkins University School of Medicine. Your brew gives you benefits beyond an energy boost. Here are the top ways coffee can positively impact your health. 1. Improve overall health. An analysis of nearly 220 studies on coffee found that coffee drinkers may enjoy more overall health benefits than people who don't drink coffee. The analysis found that during the study period, coffee drinkers were 17% less likely to die early from any cause, 19% less likely to die of heart disease, and 18% less likely to develop cancer than those who don't drink coffee. 2. Protect against type 2 diabetes. A 2014 study by Harvard researchers tracked nearly 124,000 people for 16 to 20 years. Those who increased their coffee intake by more than a cup a day over a 4-year period had an 11% lower risk of developing type 2 diabetes. Those who decreased their intake by 1 cup per day had a 17% higher risk of developing the disease. The reason may be the antioxidants in coffee, which reduce inflammation. Inflammation contributes to your type 2 diabetes risk. If you already have type 2 diabetes, however, you should avoid caffeinated products, including coffee. Caffeine has been shown to raise both blood sugar and insulin levels in people with the disease. 3. Control Parkinson's disease symptoms. A number of studies have suggested that consuming caffeine can reduce your risk of developing Parkinson's disease, and research published in 2012 in the Journal of the American Academy of Neurology showed that a daily dose of caffeine equivalent to that found in 2 8-ounce cups of black coffee can help to control the involuntary movements of people who already have the disease. You'd have to drink nearly 8 cups of brewed black tea to get the same amount of caffeine. 4. Slow the progress of dementia. In a 2012 study published in the Journal of Alzheimer's Disease, Florida researchers tested the blood levels of caffeine in older adults with mild cognitive impairments, which can be a precursor to severe dementia, including Alzheimer's disease. When the researchers re-evaluated the subjects 2 to 4 years later, those whose blood levels contained caffeine amounts equivalent to about 3 cups of coffee were far less likely to have progressed to full-blown dementia than those who had consumed little or no caffeine. 5. Safeguard the liver. Several studies published in respected journals have found that coffee drinking has beneficial effects on the liver, including reducing the risk of death from liver cirrhosis, decreasing harmful liver enzyme levels, and limiting liver scarring in people who have hepatitis C. 6. Promote heart health. According to a study published in 2021 in the American Heart Association journal Circulation, heart failure, drinking 1 or more daily cups of plain, caffeinated coffee was associated with a significant reduction in a person's long-term risk of heart failure. The study looked at the original data from the well-known heart disease studies, the Framingham Heart Study, the Atherosclerosis Risk in Communities Study, and the Cardiovascular Health Study. Although there's not enough evidence to support prescribing coffee to lower your risk, this recent revelation seems to strengthen previous findings that coffee is, in fact, good for heart health. In 2013, the journal Epidemiology and Prevention published a review of studies analyzing the correlation between coffee consumption and cardiovascular disease. Data from 36 different studies showed that people who drink 3 to 5 cups of coffee per day had a lower risk of heart disease than those who drink no coffee or more than 5 cups per day. While the reason isn't clear, one possibility is that coffee helps to improve blood vessels' control over blood flow and blood pressure. 7. Reduce melanoma risk. A 2015 study appearing in the Journal of the National Cancer Institute looked at the coffee drinking habits of more than 447,000 people over 10 years. The researchers found that those who drank 4 or more cups of caffeinated coffee each day had a 20% lower risk of developing melanoma than people who drank decaffeinated coffee or no coffee. 8. Lower mortality risk. Your morning coffee could help lower your risk of death. A 2022 study in the Annals of Internal Medicine has shown that moderate consumption of unsweetened and sugar-sweetened coffee was associated with a reduced risk of mortality. The research shows that those who drank 1.5 to 3.5 cups of coffee per day, including with sugar, had a 30% less lower risk of death from any cause during the study. How much is too much of coffee? If you rely on caffeine to wake you up and keep you going, you aren't alone. Millions of people rely on caffeine every day to stay alert and improve concentration. Up to 400 milligrams of caffeine a day appears to be safe for most healthy adults. That's roughly the amount of caffeine in 4 cups of brewed coffee, 10 cans of cola or 2 energy shot drinks. Keep in mind that the actual caffeine content in beverages varies widely, especially among energy drinks. Caffeine in powder or liquid form can provide toxic levels of caffeine, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration has cautioned. Just 1 teaspoon of powdered caffeine is equivalent to about 28 cups of coffee. Such high levels of caffeine can cause serious health problems and possibly death. Although caffeine use may be safe for adults, it's not a good idea for children. Adolescents and young adults need to be cautioned about excessive caffeine intake and mixing caffeine with alcohol and other drugs. Women who are pregnant or who are trying to become pregnant and those who are breastfeeding should talk with their doctors about limiting caffeine use to less than 200 milligrams daily. Even among adults, heavy caffeine use can cause unpleasant side effects. And caffeine may not be a good choice for people who are highly sensitive to its effects or who take certain medications. As it is water-soluble, caffeine is readily absorbed in our system. It reaches our bloodstream in no time, starting from the stomach to the brain. Does it have any side effects? Yes, and some of those are. May induce anxiety attacks. Excessive intake of caffeine can lead to a serious case of anxiety. Studies done on secondary school children showed that a high intake of caffeine could be associated with feelings of anxiety and stress. A person with anxiety is known to experience nervousness and restlessness, even under normal conditions. Caffeine worsens such conditions. Hence, one should be very cautious if they experience these symptoms. May cause stomach disorders. The acids present in caffeine stimulate the stomach to produce more acid. Caffeine seems to promote gastroesophageal reflux. Anecdotal evidence suggests that too much caffeine may also lead to stomach disorders like nausea, cramps, diarrhea, and bloating. May cause insomnia. Insomnia is a sleep disorder in which a person finds it difficult to fall or stay asleep. It is a withdrawal symptom, which is combined with other physical problems, such as increased fatigue and headache. This is a common sign among those who consume a lot of caffeine. Such people would experience sleeplessness and irritability if they were to withdraw from caffeine. Though certain studies did not find major effects, the intake of caffeine right before bed has been associated with sleeplessness. May cause miscarriage. Pregnant women should be extra cautious with caffeine as excessive intake may lead to miscarriage and other pre-delivery complications. Caffeine is water-soluble and easily crosses the placenta through the bloodstream. As it is a stimulant, it can cause a rapid increase in the heart rate and metabolism of the fetus. One of the side effects of too much caffeine includes delayed fetal growth. May increase blood pressure levels. People who have hypertension should be cautious about the amount of caffeine they consume on a daily basis. Caffeine is known to spike your blood pressure for a short time. While there are no long-term effects of caffeine, some believe it may worsen the condition in people with irregular heart rhythms. On the other hand, certain studies state that the intake of coffee is not linked to hypertension. Hence, more research is needed to establish a connection. Caffeine is also associated with a heart attack in young adults. According to a study, young adults with mild hypertension who consume more than 4 cups of coffee in a day are 4 times more vulnerable to heart attack than those who consume 2 cups or less. May induce menstrual problems. While a hot cup of coffee feels great during those days, excessive intake of caffeine can meddle with your menstrual cycle. It can cause period delays, excessive flow, and prolonged cramps. Caffeine also increases the chance of vasomotor in menopausal women. According to a study published in the Journal of the North American Menopause Society, menopausal women who are dependent on caffeine have a greater chance of displaying vasomotor symptoms. May increase the risk of urinary incontinence. Caffeine increases the chances of urinary incontinence in women. It is a bladder disorder in which the person loses control of the bladder. It results in the sudden leakage of urine whenever the person laughs, coughs, or sneezes. Might cause weight gain. Caffeine may induce stress. Animal studies show that stress can lead to obesity. However, there is no direct research stating that caffeine can lead to weight gain and long-term obesity. Some believe that caffeine brings up the levels of stress hormones, which results in increased hunger pangs. This is not proven by research, though. May cause hallucinations. It is true that caffeine can make you high. If you go overboard, you may experience confusion and hallucinations. These effects were more pronounced in those taking more than 7 cups of coffee, more than 300 milligrams of caffeine in a day. In some cases, this has even led to death due to convulsions. May interfere with estrogen production. Caffeine is known to interfere with estrogen production and metabolism. While it increased estrogen production in Asians, it decreased the levels in white females. Some believe that caffeine can reduce a woman's chances of getting pregnant. The higher the caffeine dependency, the greater the risk, though this has not been proven. It also is believed that caffeine can have strong effects that may complicate pregnancy. Since research is lacking, we suggest that women who look forward to conceiving consult their doctor before taking caffeine. May trigger acne. Having numerous cups of coffee in a day can also cause acne. Caffeine magnifies the body's stress levels by boosting stress hormones, which is one of the main reasons for breakouts. Caffeine can also throw your body off balance, causing stress and eventually breakouts. Can increase the chance of breast tissue cysts. According to a published study, women who consume more than 500 milligrams of caffeine per day have twice more chances of developing breast tissue cysts than those who take 31 to 250 mg of caffeine. May impair hearing loss recovery. According to a study conducted on guinea pigs, caffeine may also delay the recovery rate of noise-induced hearing loss. The same correlation is believed to be observed in humans as well. May cause allergies. Caffeine allergy is highly uncommon, but some people might develop oversensitivity to it. This may cause allergic symptoms, like rashes, hives, and caffeine in powder or liquid form can provide toxic levels of caffeine, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration has cautioned. Just 1 teaspoon of powdered caffeine is equivalent to about 28 cups of coffee. Such high levels of caffeine can cause serious health problems and possibly death. Although caffeine use may be safe for adults, it's not a good idea for children. Adolescents and young adults need to be cautioned about excessive caffeine intake and mixing caffeine with alcohol and other drugs. Women who are pregnant or who are trying to become pregnant and those who are breastfeeding should talk with their doctors about limiting caffeine use to less than 200 milligrams daily. Even among adults, heavy caffeine use can cause unpleasant side effects. And caffeine may not be a good choice for people who are highly sensitive to its effects or who take certain medications.